What's going on, guys? Welcome to the lounge at Hidden Homestead. My name is David, and today we're going over my top budget bourbon sippers. All right, guys, thanks for joining me today on my top go-to budget bourbon sippers, top go-to budget bourbons, top budget sipping bourbons, whichever one you prefer. These are the ones that I like and drink the most of on a daily basis. Elijah Craig small batch, Old Forester 100 proof signature, Woodford Reserve regular, just the regular Woodford Reserve, and the Maker's Mark 46. All right, so first up is Elijah Craig small batch. It is Heaven Hill product coming in at 94 proof. It is 78% corn, 12% malted barley, and 10% rye. And you can pick this up for about 25, 27, 28 bucks. Pretty solid bourbon for that price. Now, this is the bourbon that really got me into bourbon. It's just that profile. I love Elijah Craig profile. I like most of Heaven Hill's profile. It's just good bourbon to me. Vanilla, caramel, peanuts for sure, and oak is right up front. For me, I get all of them. The oak and the peanuts are more prevalent than the caramel and vanilla, but you still get that sweet undertone. So on the palate, there's vanilla, there's a big sweet oak, and definitely some oak char. Again, for that budget price, for that sub $30, everything is pretty even. There's no spiky notes. For me, it's just an enjoyable sipper. I will say that as far as that oaky characteristic, I prefer the sweet oak or woody oak. I'm not a big fan of the oak, like the bitter oak tannin. That's just not my jam. I don't like that. There's a lot of people that do. For example, Henry McKenna. It's another Heaven Hill product. It's good, but the finish just has that bitter oak tannin that I just don't like. And because of that, I don't like Henry McKenna. Now, I know a lot of people love that. I just don't like it. There's a couple other ones that I can't think of right now that has that bitter oak. There's one of I think the Russell's Reserve 10-year had that bitter oak on it. That could have just been the bottle that I had. Maybe they were both tainted. I'm not sure, but it just had a profile that I wasn't fond of. Elijah Craig has the oak. It's oak forward for sure, but it's not a bitter oak, which is why I like it. So in the finish, that charred oak definitely follows through. You get cinnamon, and then the vanilla comes through and lingers for a little bit. And even at 94 proof, it's a mild heat. Now that's because of the low rye. I'm assuming low rye in the mash bill, only 10%. You're not getting that heat, like that burn, that pepper burn. Which again is why I like it. For 30 bucks or under, it's a solid and enjoyable sipper. All right, next up is Old Forester Signature. It is a Brown-Forman product, comes in at 100 proof. It is non-age stated. Mash bill is 72% corn, 18% rye, and 10% malted barley. You can pick it up anywhere between $24 to $30. Normally I can find it about $22 to $24, and for $22 to $24 for 100 proof, this has kind of become one of my all-time favorite go-tos. Super good pour. Again, you got 100 proof, so it's easy to drink, but it's not blowing your palate up, but you still have enough of the character in the bourbon You get vanilla, caramel, the bit of some sweet oak, maybe some fruit. There's something else that's sweet in there, but what really stands out for me, and what stands out on most of Brown-Forman products, is banana. Now, I love banana, and as soon as I open a fresh bottle of this, that's the first thing I can smell is banana. Love it. It smells amazing. Almost like a banana pudding with caramel and maybe a little bit of cinnamon sprinkled on top. Super good, super inviting. Let's see what the palate goes. Yeah, so the palate, the banana and the oak come all the way through on the palate. But really, it's a little bit sweeter. There's a little bit of I think it's pecans. There's a little bit of a pecan note, and then like a maple syrup, which really kind of just jacks that sweetness up, makes it a bit more sweeter. So now you've got like a, almost like a funky Bananas Foster sorta, but instead of the caramel, you got maple syrup. Super nice. Again, I love bananas, which I think is the biggest reason why I like Brown-Forman products, just because of that banana note. So the finish, so this one has a higher rye percentage, 18%, compared to the Elijah Craig at 10%. So it does have a bit more of a spice character that comes through on the finish, along with a sweet oak. Now it's not overly spicy, it's not hot. It's enjoyable, it's easy to drink. This one is a little bit more complex and a little bit more bolder than Elijah Craig, which again, I think that's why I'm really kind of start moving towards this one as my daily. As you can see, this is a brand new bottle actually, and I've really gone through that. Excuse me, it's definitely spicier, but it's well-rounded. It's not over the top. For a $22 to $25 bottle of 100 proof, you cannot go wrong with this one. All right, next up is another Brown-Forman product. It is Woodford Reserve Distillers Select. It comes in at 90.4 proof. It's also non-age stated. Same mash bill, 72% corn, 18% rye, and 10% malted barley. Comes in for about $24 to $30 depending on your market. Even though this is the same mash bill and distilled by the same company, it is, or owned by the same company, it is different. This one, on the nose I get a lot of vanilla and honey, some oak, and graham crackers. There is a very slight tinge of ethanol, which is surprising for a 90.4, but it's not overwhelming, it's not off-putting at all. It's still very, very inviting. So let's see what the palate has. So the palate definitely, the nose definitely follows through on the palate. I got the vanilla, the honey, the oak, not so much of the graham crackers, but there is a very little bit of citrus that comes through there, like almost like an orange peel. Still very easy, even at 90.4 proof. Again, not super high, but drinks, I hate to say smooth, but it drinks very smooth. It's very enjoyable, and actually, even though it drinks smooth and it's not really hot, I said almost. I don't even know what that means, but I almost always prefer this in an old fashioned. I don't know why. It's the flavor profile that goes along with everything else. Maybe it's that citrus note. Maybe it's the honey. I'm not sure, but I really enjoy this in an old fashioned, especially as a slightly lower proof. And I want to sit and drink old fashions for a while. 90.4. You're not going to get all slammered up drinking old fashions, which I've done. I've done that a couple of times. I don't recommend it. You need to be careful. So, all right. So the finish. A lot of times the younger bourbons don't have these notes. On the finish, I'm getting that aged oak. I'm actually getting a little bit of leather and tobacco. I normally don't get those on younger bourbons. Now, I've gotten them before on Elijah Craig. Those, if I remember right, correct me if I'm wrong, those Elijah Craig, and they might have changed it, I think, a little bit, but it used to be like a mix of, I think, anywhere between 8 and 12 year barrels that went into the Elijah Craig, and every once in a while I was able to get a tobacco out of Elijah Craig. This one I'm getting leather, I'm getting tobacco, again that cured aged oak. You don't get that in a young bourbon, and I think that just makes it a little bit more complex. Still very, very easy to sip. The leather is a little, it's like a dry leather, and the finish is a little drying. It lingers for a little bit, but it's pretty light. It doesn't go on for very long, but I still do get those flavors. All right, last but certainly not least, I've got to have a wheated bourbon in the lineup, and I have chosen Maker's Mark 46. Maker's Mark 46 is a Beam Suntory product, so it is the same people that make Jim Beam, Nom Creek, all those fun things. Comes in at 94 proof. It is non-age stated, but it's reported to be about 6 years. So after 6 years, they dump all the regular Maker's Mark barrels and then put them back into I believe, used barrels along with the number 46 French oak staves. That's what gives it the vanilla characteristics, along with the spiciness, that French oak spiciness. It has a mash bill of 70% corn, 16% wheat, and 14% malted barley. You can pick it up for about $40. Now, I can get this for about $32, so it just depends, obviously, on your location and what the market is. I have actually done blinds with this against other wheated bourbons, some of the higher end wheated bourbons, and honestly, this, for me, has come out on top. So, that being said, of course I'm getting caramel. I'm getting kind of a toasted oak, the vanilla, and toffee. I'm getting toffee on it. There's a little bit of a French toast in there. So kind of a nice breakfast bourbon. If you want to wake up in the morning and have bourbon, this would be the one to choose. So good. So good. Again, like I said, if you want a breakfast bourbon, for me, what I get, butter, French toast, caramel, stuff. It's buttered, stuffed French toast with caramel drizzled over it. It is, it's delicious. You wake up, you want to go to brunch, or your wife wants to go to brunch, and you're like, no, that's okay, sweetheart. I'm just gonna have bourbon for breakfast. That's what you would have. Maybe if you had some scrambled eggs to go along with it, it'd be even better. With this one on the finish, so the finish kind of follows through with the palate, kind of. It's got some spice, which is from that the French oak staves. They're giving a little bit of extra spice. That vanilla comes through, and I'm also getting, on this one, I get tobacco and leather on the finish with some aged oak. That tobacco and leather lingers for a little bit. It's not so like the Woodford's leather was a little drying. This isn't nearly as drying. I mean, I can still taste a little bit of leather and tobacco, both of them. They kind of complement each other, really. They're not overly, they're not overly done. It's not super spiky. Pretty mellow. It's enjoyable. If you want to skip breakfast and just have bourbon, this is the one that I would recommend. All right, guys. Again, thanks for joining me for my daily sipping budget bourbon lineup. Again, these are my go-tos, my budget go-tos. I would love to hear, put in the comments below, I'd love to hear what your daily sippers are, what you normally like to drink. That's always a fun interaction, just to see what everyone else is going to. And let me know if you like this lineup, if you like the video, consider, pow, just smashing, just hammering down on that like button, or you could just click it. You could click it all nice like. That's fine. Whatever you're into, doesn't matter to me. I prefer to hammer it, just hammer away at it, but that's just me. Also, maybe subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell icon so you get notifications on when I put out different videos, all kinds of videos. And yeah, Patreon, Facebook, Instagram, we're on those things. You could check it out. You could do that. That'd be cool. It helps us out. And I think that's it. Until next time, gotta get that good swirl. Get her all dizzy. Get her all crazy. Cheers. So that was actually for poops and giggles. I mixed what I had left out of the Old Forester. That's interesting. Banana French toast. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Caramel stuffed vanilla banana French toast. Freaking A. That was delicious.